Good morning and welcome to Title Talk. I'm Karen Hamstra and it's Monday morning, September 24th, and let's see what new things we have. And I gotta tell you, we have a bunch of new books this week that I would love to read, and I'm gonna have to make some hard choices. This one, Miss Cop Just Won't Quit. It's a Cop Sisters novel by Amy Stewart. It takes place in 1916. There have evidently been earlier Cop Sisters novels, which I have somehow totally missed. There's been, let's see, at least 2, maybe 3 here, possibly 4. Anyway, 1916, she's been on the job for a year as an undersheriff of Bergen County, New Jersey. And she is involved in a case that kind of reveals the hurdles of life that independent women faced back at that time. The author has really earned a reputation as a great storyteller, so I have no doubt that would be a good book. The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle. This is a debut fiction novel by Stuart Turton, Turton. This book has just gotten rave reviews everywhere. It's supposed to be a very original piece of fiction. The hero is Aidan Bishop. The murdered person is Evelyn Hardcastle, and every day that goes by, she dies again until he can find her. Says every day he wakes up himself in the body of a different guest, the sleuth, and some of his hosts are more helpful than others. The most inventive debut of the year twists together a mystery of such unexpected creativity that it will leave readers guessing until the very last page. And the author has helpfully provided a nice map of the estate of Blackheath where it all happens. That could make it more fun. And then we have one by James Fry, the controversial author of A Million Little Pieces. This one is called Katerina, and this one, he does admit, is a fiction book. So it's his first novel in 10 years, so it took him a while. This one is an alternating novel between Paris in 1992 and Los Angeles in 2017. At its center are a young writer and a young model on the verge of fame, both reckless, impulsive, and deeply in love. 25 years later, the writer is rich, famous, and known. He wants to drive his car into a tree, and it doesn't tell us what has happened to the model, but she presumably plays a big role in his feelings. A Borrowing of Bones by Paula Munier. I'm just guessing at that. This is another debut novel. It's a mystery, and it sounds so good. It's after their last deployment. When she got shot, her fiance Martinez got killed, and his bomb-sniffing dog Elvis got depressed. Soldier Mercy Carr and Elvis were both sent home with her late lover's last words ringing in her ears, "Take care of my partner." So together, Mercy and Elvis march off their grief mile after mile in the beautiful remote Vermont wilderness. But then on the 4th of July weekend, Elvis alerts her to explosives, and they find a squalling baby near a shallow grave filled with what appear to be human bones. U.S. Game Warden Troy Warner and his search and rescue Newfoundland Susie Bear respond to Mercy's 911 call, and the four must work together to track down a missing mother, solve a cold case murder, and keep the citizens of North Shore safe on potentially the most incendiary Independence Day since the American Revolution. It's a gripping new series full of complex twists, introducing a wonderful new voice for mystery readers and dog lovers. That would be me. So, another choice. Jen McKinley, she's made quite a name for herself writing library mysteries. She actually is a librarian who works in Arizona, but her mysteries are set up in New England. This one, when a stack of library material is found at the scene of a hit and run, library director Lindsay Norris finds herself dragged into the investigation as the police try to link the driver of the stolen car to the person who borrowed the CDs. Before Lindsay can delve into the library's records, the victim of the hit and run, Teresa Houston, suffers another accident, and the investigation shifts from driver negligence to attempted murder. Those books are always a lot of fun to read, especially for those of us who are librarians. The Winter Soldier by Daniel Mason. This one takes place in Vienna, 1914. Lucius is a 22-year-old medical student when World War I explodes across Europe, and he ends up in the Carpathian Mountains at a freezing outpost that's ravaged by typhus. When the other doctors have fled, and there's only a single mysterious nurse named Sister Marguerite, and he has never lifted a surgeon's scalpel, so he learns a lot as time goes on. Daniel Mason is author of The Piano Tuner, which was quite a hit a few years ago. John Larson, Whiskey When We're Dry. Words used to describe this are Arya Stark meets True Grit, heartbreakingly rendered, sweeping, amazing, a shot of adrenaline, remarkable, timeless, suspenseful and satisfying, a story of hope, powerful. Rave reviews, in other words. This one takes place in 1885. A 17-year-old Jessalyn Harney, she finds herself orphaned and alone on her family's homestead, and she takes off on a horse to find her missing brother, who has become an outlaw, and she must outmaneuver those who underestimate her to become a hero in her own right. Told in Jessa's wholly original and unforgettable voice, Whiskey When We're Dry is a stunning achievement, a propulsive quest for salvation and family, and a reckoning with the myths entwined in our history. And again, the author is John Larson. Now I have 4 large print books to show you briefly. Beth Harbison's Every Time You Go Away. This one is about a mother and wife who has not quite recovered from the death of her husband. She finally sells the house where they lived most of their life and returns to a beach house where they first met, and the memories are just overwhelming, and she has to enlist her young son and some friends to try and help her overcome all that. So a good, very early autumn read to help you remember the summer, the days of summer. A Rumored Fortune, Joanna Davidson Politano. This is about a woman and her mother who inherited a castle and an immense vineyard and no money to run it, and so they're trying to track down what might have happened to her father's money because he didn't trust banks. And then we have a new Karen Slaughter large print, Pieces of Her. This is about a mother and daughter also. The mother gets involved in an explosion at the local mall, and it turns out that she's lived under an assumed identity for 30 years. She's not at all who her daughter thought she was, so her daughter and the mother won't talk to the police. She's not giving out any information, so the daughter has to follow up a trail of breadcrumbs and figure out who her mother really is and what she's hiding. Marcia Willett, Summer on the River, another novel about a house on water. As summer beckons, Evie's family gathers at their big old riverside house, and this is probably in Europe, I'm guessing. It says, for Charlie, a visit home to see stepmother Evie is an escape from his unhappy marriage in London until a chance encounter changes everything. In the space of a moment, he meets a woman by the river, falls in love, and his two worlds collide. As Evie and Charlie struggle to keep their secret safe, they long for the summer to end. The summer never to end, Can the happiness of one summer last forever? And that was Summer on the River by Marcia Willett. 3 browsing books in our spinners. Lindsay Sands, Vampires Like It Hot. Ellie Wright, Be Enticed by You. It says play with Fire, Enticed by You. And that's part of the Wellspring series. And then Denise Swanson, Diamere River. And I think that is kind of a mystery book, it looks like. So, oh my goodness, lots of good books this week. I hope you had fun finding something good to read. We'll see you next week. Thanks for listening.